The man is Algeria's Emain Khalif. He repeatedly pummeled her in the face. Look at this below.
Hello everyone, I'm Joseph Dinesh, a Catholic commentator from Sydney, Australia. In today's video, we will discuss a highly controversial Olympic story that has been circulating on social media aside from the mockery of Christians during the opening ceremony. This story involves an Italian female boxer who quit just 46 seconds into a match against a biological male competitor from Algeria because she could not withstand the hard blows and deemed the situation unjust. This event has raised several important questions that I would like to explore. First, as Christians, how can we support our friends struggling with their gender identity? Second, what is the solution for transgender individuals who are passionate about sports and want to compete at the highest level? And third, why it should be women who should stand up and raise their voices for women's sports and not accept biological men competing in these categories. In the first clip, we have Megyn Kelly, a political commentator, narrating the entire incident to help us understand what really happened. Let's listen to what she has to say.
The outcome was beyond predictable for anyone with common sense. It took 46 seconds for the woman, his opponent from Italy, to withdraw from the fight in tears. The man is Algeria's Emain Khalif. He repeatedly pummeled her in the face. Look at this below. Look at that. Walloped her. This is what female athletes are up against when the powers that be will not protect them. Megan Rapinoe says it's not happening. She says they're fine. Why don't you tell it to Italian boxer Angela Carini, literally brought to her knees and to tears? Listeners of this show have children who are going to have to deal with this. This poor boxer retreated to the corner, yelling, "This is unjust," as her Olympic dream came crashing down thanks to a weak-kneed International Olympic Committee that allowed this to happen.
Now that we understand the incident holistically, it's time to address the first question. How, as Catholics, can we reach out to our friends who have gender identity issues? Answering this question is crucial because amidst the politicization of transgenderism and culture wars, we often overlook the real people who are struggling with this mental trauma daily. While we must call out the harmful aspects of this ideology and lifestyle, it is equally important to reach out, support those affected, and journey with them. Let's listen to Father Mike Schmitz as he teaches how to do this.
If my perception doesn't match up with reality, it's not reality that has to change, it's my perception of reality that has to change. Because I could change these external factors, but the reality is, at the heart of everything, I'm still a man or I'm still a woman. And when it comes down to it, that's the message of love. This is not a message of judging. This is not a message of criticizing. This is not even a message of trying to blame anyone or make them a monster. No, absolutely not. These are people who are hurting. Anyone, the people in my life who have been hurting from anorexia or any kind of body dysmorphia, or even this kind of sense of identifying with members of the opposite gender, all of that comes down to someone who's hurting. So what are we called to do as Catholics? Well, we don't have to judge because no one's calling us a judge and no one wants us to judge. We don't need to judge. What we're called to do is called to walk with people. I mean, that's one of the best things we do as Catholics is we walk with people. We listen to them. We hear what they're really saying. And then we're able to just not have to yell at anyone and not have to criticize anyone. Just be able to say, let me walk with you. I don't have to give you what you want in order to love you, but I am called to walk with you in order to love you. That's why it's easy for me to say this on a video, to say, here we're called to do this. But what really happens is this: when Catholics, when those who belong to Jesus are willing to get into the messiness of someone's brokenness, someone's wound, it doesn't matter what it is, listen to them, to love them and walk with them, that's what we're really called to do. And when it comes to Bruce Jenner, when it comes to anyone else.
As observed in every Catholic teaching, the principle of both and applies here. We must clearly state to the world, what you feel does not change reality. And at the same time, we must journey with people who have gender identity issues and refrain from judging them for who they are and what they do. While we hold individuals responsible for their sinful actions as adults, we must also consider the circumstances that have shaped them, the families they grew up in, the abuses they have endured, the difficult situations and experiences they have faced, and the misleading influences they have encountered. All these factors kind of contribute to how they feel now regarding their gender. I am not suggesting we shouldn't hold them accountable when they infringe on others' rights or cause harm, but I'm referring to their personal sinful lifestyle choices. Isn't it somewhat self-righteous for someone from a healthy family background who has not gone through any abuse to then pass judgment on these individuals? Now addressing the second question, what is the solution for transgender individuals who are passionate about sports and want to compete at the highest level? Wouldn't allowing a biological male who identifies as a woman to participate in the women's category be unfair and unjust for female participants? Let's listen to this female American Olympic medalist as she offers a solution.
Well, my first Olympics, I was 17 years old. So I hadn't even fully developed as a woman. So I couldn't imagine getting inside the ring with the biological man. I mean, even though I spar against the men, but fighting for the Olympics is way bigger than that. It's so much more on the line. The Olympics definitely dropped the ball, and listen, I don't have anything against transgender women or transgender men. All I'm saying is that men should fight against men, women should fight against women, and transgenders should fight against transgenders. That is how I feel. I will stand with that. I'm not homophobic or anything like that or against the gay community, but that's not right.
I think she puts it perfectly. Let's not complicate this matter. Men should compete with men, women should compete with women, and transgender individuals should compete with other transgender individuals. In my opinion, this is the best solution that is fair to all parties involved, avoiding complications like gender tests, hormone levels, and stages of gender transition. Now moving on to the third question. Why aren't women standing up for their sports and instead going along with this woke nonsense? Let's listen to Charlie Kirk as he addresses the issue.
I'm not Italian, so I'm not going to criticize her. She is weak. Why won't you stand up and say, I'm fighting a man? Because she's part of the entire European trans project. Again, this is going to require athletes. And remember, about a month and a half ago, the now repeated gold medalist, incredibly impressive athlete, 1500 meter gold medalist, Katie Ledecky, was asked about men and female sports, and she just dodged the question. It's like, oh, I'm not really sure about that. Again, female athletes are not standing up for this. They're largely okay with this, and or they are not okay with it, but they're too afraid or weak to speak out about it. Men are not going to fix this. You've seen that. I mean, how many times are now men speaking out about this? I speak out about this. Donald Trump speaks out about this. Instead, it needs to be a female-led athlete movement, but that woman who got pummeled in the face, she's upset, she's crying, but then she plays into the injustice. Oh, well, who am I to say that it's wrong? Well, you actually are here to say you could change this. You could now make this your number one issue and say, I just had to fight a man. I'm a tough boxer, and I just got almost knocked out in the first minute because I was fighting somebody unlike a physical specimen I've never seen before. And understand, this is the outgrowth of third wave feminism, because third wave feminism says women don't need to be protected. Women don't need the door to be held open for them. Women don't need a man to protect them. Okay, you don't? Then go box a bunch of men.
I understand that many women recognize the situation as wrong and unjust, but they fear repercussions in terms of their careers and political backlash. I can empathize with their predicament. There is no doubt that there will be consequences if they stand up. However, I want to offer some encouragement. I have learned that as long as you are timid and afraid of evil, it may seem intimidating and powerful. Yet, the moment you muster the courage and resolve to stand up against it, it will flee with the least bit of challenge. That's why scripture says in James chapter 4 verses 7, resist the devil and he will flee from you. This is also why courage is considered a cardinal virtue. Now let me give you an example from my own life experience. In my family, there was this family member who constantly emotionally abused everyone without concern for how his words and actions hurt others. I, along with others, tolerated it because we knew he was unreasonable and had a short temper. However, during the COVID lockdown, things escalated to an unbearable point. Finally, I raised my voice and confronted him with great aggression and gave this person an ultimatum. You won't believe, but that was the last time he ever threw a tantrum. Today, my greatest regret is that I didn't do this sooner, as it would have brought much needed peace to my family. So to summarize, how we as Catholics should respond to this situation. First, stop judging and instead journey with those who struggle with gender identity, and at the same time, clearly state to the world that feelings do not dictate reality. Second, propose this solution. Men compete with men, women compete with women, and transgender individuals compete with other transgender individuals. Third and finally, encourage every woman to stand up and raise their voices against the injustice occurring in women's sports. I hope this video was helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. God bless you.